Ubisoft Romania has already populated airspace with the Blazing Angel series, competing for a piece of the Blue Yonder while dogfighting with the likes of the long-lived Ace Combat series. This time, the aerial acrobatics are set in the not-too-distant future, with an infusion of the Tom Clancy name and history. But does HAWX go where eagles dare? HAWX, or High Altitude Warfare Experimental Squadron, skirts the Tom Clancy universe with a few allusions to Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. But the focus is on you, as David Crenshaw, an Air Force pilot who joins up with a private military company called Artemis to make some money and protect various freedoms and interests around the world. It doesn't take long to see a plot twist coming as the fighting shifts from distant lands to native soil. There's a disconnect between the carnage and repercussions of the events as you soar several football fields above the turmoil, and the early dialogue can be laughable as people yap on and on about money.
Artemis pays us twice as much as Uncle Sam, and that's not counting the performance bonuses.
The plot in itself is engaging enough, if predictable, but the execution makes it seem like a boring afterthought. The occasional lip service to the Clancyverse is nice, but the detachment stands.
Direct hit. Bogey, 6 o'clock.
The single-player campaign consists of nearly 20 somewhat quick missions that will have you flying all around the world with a range of objectives to complete. Tasks can change up at checkpoints, and there are some fun bombing runs, but prepare to do a lot of protecting. There's an option to have up to 3 friends jump in for co-op and become, hopefully, better wingmen than the AI Icemen and Mavericks. The lone competitive play comes in the form of Team Deathmatch, but it does add some support items to mix things up. The levels have great topography thanks to the GOI tech fueling the maps with real readings from actual satellites. Trees are where actual trees stand, and landmarks are textured with high-resolution satellite imagery. There are tons of licensed jets to unlock and pilot, with the game quick selecting the best ones available for each mission, yet you're still free to pick another. Planes and weapons are unlocked by completing missions and gaining levels via experience. You get XP from shooting down planes, bombing tanks, or taking out naval reinforcements. There's also large XP boons given for specifics like destroying 100 targets with a particular weapon. Couple that with 40 levels to grind through and XP earned in death matches as well as in the campaign, and there's quite a bit of replay value if you want to maximize your Sky Ace accolades. While too many protect and escort missions grate on the nerves, the XP system makes the game constantly rewarding psychologically, even if you don't experiment with the choices of planes and guns and opt into the game's recommendations. Multiplayer could use an extra mode or two, but there's always the simple thrill of making things explode. While you'll have to master your pitch, yaw, and roll as you fly through 3 dimensions, you won't need a PhD in aerodynamics to get around. Just avoid hitting the ground. A slight shade of simulation creeps across with almost 30 points of interest on any given screen, but you'll quickly find it's not really cluttered. The majority of play is getting near enough to enemies on the ground, air, or sea, and waiting for your missiles to lock on so you can fire off a guided assist rocket, and then select your next victim. You can choose to gun things down with your cannons, but it's hard to pass on using the missiles and their tendency to hit and obliterate their targets.
That's one less flight of bandits to worry about.
Making things even more simple, you also have access to the ERS, or Enhanced Reality System, which basically displays a flight path to follow so you can intercept an incoming bogey or dodge a missile if you're low on flares. These systems feel like minigames, and while they have an inherent challenge, they take you out of the feeling of actually engaging in modern air combat. You can try to down planes with a cannon or dodge locked-on missiles with your own intuition, but with the systems readily available, it seems masochistic to turn it off. The game still has some challenge, mainly due to the amount of resistance you'll face, but it can feel like you're using tracer paper instead of drawing something yourself. If you really want a challenge, then wait till about a third of the way through the campaign when Assistance Off mode opens up. A quick double tap at the trigger or shoulder button welcomes a shift to extended third person. It looks a little like playing a vertical shooter with 3D models at first. It seems to be a take on the dynamic lock-on from Blazing Angels. Here, you can risk stalling your plane in exchange for more exacting control. It can be useful for a dogfight, but generally feels odd playing from the cinematic perspective. There are undoubtedly some innovations in the gameplay, but they're not all executed well. HAWX is accessible, but not always engaging.
That's another hit, Crenshaw. Do the words sitting duck mean anything to you?
That GeoEye tech provides accurate maps and textures, but they look a little wonky up close. The planes look realistic, but they don't show much wear and tear. Explosions rock, visually and audibly, though the voice acting comes across a bit stale and forced. Both the 360 and PS3 offer a similar level of visual competence and compromise, but the mandatory PS3 install lasts about 30 minutes. The serious setting and technical underpinnings of high-tech war doesn't really float HAWX to the top of the charts. It's competent but bland, lacking the imaginative missions of Blazing Angels, the glorious melodrama of Ace Combat, and the joyful air ballets of either. If you need a new light flight sim fix, you could do worse since the XP system sustains through the campaign and multiplayer, but HAWX can be skipped by those with a passing fancy or a lust for all things Clancy.